Are you having trouble buying items in Jump Assemble, and you just rely on the recommended tab and buy the same item over and over again in every match? Then you certainly come to the right place. Because in this video, going to show you how the attack equipments work in Jump Assemble. So, without wasting your time, let's get started. Let's start with Red Scale Knife. I'm not going to read all the boring parts of the item. I'm only going to explain how the passive works, so we don't waste more time. Soul Passive Scale Leap. When the enemy can't see you for 1 second, the character's right hand will glow red, and you will see an indicator below. And when you use basic attack to the enemy target, you will deal more damage and slows the enemy for 2 seconds. This item is useful for campers like Itadori Yuji, Blade of Thunder, Passive Lightning. Every 5 seconds, the character's right hand will have that sparky yellow thunder. This is an indicator that your next basic attack will deal more damage. This is good for fighter that can last longer in battles like Guko. And also, the damage is doubled when hitting an enemy minion. That's why this item is good for fast clearing minions. Note that this item is only effective when equipped by melee heroes, so I do not recommend buying this item if you're using a ranger. Purging Scythe, Soul Passive Purify. This item will make you tanky when you deal damage using basic attack to the enemy. This is without the Purging Scythe. As you can see here, the enemy's basic attack damage is 162. And this is with the item Purging Scythe. The enemy's basic attack damage is reduced to 135. That's because the effect is doubled when equipped by a melee characters. Like fighters. Fighters will receive 20% damage reduction because most of them are melee. Homicidal Blade, Passive, Aggressive Attack. Dealing damage using basic attack or skill will reduce the enemy's HP recovery by 50% for 2 seconds. A bleeding red heart will appear at the top of the enemy's HP bar as an indicator that the passive is activated. This item is mostly used to kill enemies with strong healing abilities, like Ichigo, for example. Thorny Knife, Soul Passive Guardian. Taking magic damage when your max HP is below 35%. You will release a barrier that resists magic damage for 5 seconds. Note that this barrier will only appear if you take magic damage. This item is useful if your enemies deal more magic damage. Humble, Ancient Hammer. Soul Passive Spike. When you deal damage to the enemy, you will gain a stack that increases your physical penetration for 5 seconds. This can go up to 4 stacks, and you will gain 40% physical penetration. This is your damage with 1 stack. Now with 4 stacks. As you can see, the damage is increased. This useful for sustained fighters that fight longer in battles. And also useful if your enemy is tanky. Thunder Hailing Dual Wield, Soul Passive Justice. Moving for 1000 yards will give you 1 stack. This stack will increase your movement speed by 5. And a trail effect will appear at the back of your character as indicator. This stack can go up to 5 and will increase your movement speed to 25. After accumulating 5 stacks, the next basic attack will deal more damage and slows the target for 2 seconds. This item is useful for characters who can move faster. Blade of Phantom, Soul Passive Spell Flow. After using a skill, the character's right hand will glow blue. And the next basic attack will deal more damage and recovers mana. This item is useful for characters that is using mana. Bloodshade Dual Wield, Soul Passive Blood Surge. After a critical hit, the character's both hands will glow red, and the next basic attack will deal more damage. This item is useful for characters who have a high critical chance, like Nanami Kento. This item is also perfect for rangers. Gusting Blade. Active passive Gale. As you can notice, this item is different from the others. This item uses active passive while the others have soul passive. The difference is that soul passive is activated automatically, while active passive, on the other hand, is you're the one in command when you're gonna activate it. Hope you understand. Let's go back to the item. After buying this item, a button will appear at the right side. This button allows you to ignore all the terrain, like the rocks and towers. And this will also increase your movement speed by 30%. This effect can last only for 5 seconds. This item is very useful for escaping. Weapon of Gods Mysterious. Soul Passive Spell Flow. This item uses the same passive spell flow in Blade of Phantom. The only difference is that Blade of Phantom recovers mana, while Weapons of Gods Mysterious, on the other hand, increases movement speed. After using a skill, the character's both hand will glow yellow, and an indicator will appear under. This item is suitable for characters that have low cooldown on skills, that can spam the passive effect. Bow of Flames. Soul Passive Scorching. Buying this item will make your character to hit 2 additional targets if it is near the first target at once. This is also effective even if only the first target is inside the range. The 2 target can still be hit as long as it is near the first target. This item is a must-buy if you are a ranger. This is very useful in teamfights. But note that this item is only effective if you're using a ranger. It is useless if equipped by a fighter, so I do not recommend you to buy this item if you're using a melee character. Crimson Blossom. Soul Passive Standoff. Every 6 seconds, this item increases your attack range to 100. And the right hand of your character will glow orange as an indicator, and the next basic attack will deal additional damage. This item is also useful for rangers. Winds After Shadow. Active Passive Spirit Wall. After buying this item, a button will appear at the right side. Activating the passive will grant immunity to basic attack for 1 second. This item is good for fighting enemies that rely on basic attack as damage. Judgement Sword. Soul Passive Judgment. This item grants the highest physical attack, and also have the highest price. Your basic attack will deal additional damage to enemy characters that have HP less than 35%, and will inflict a bleeding effect that lasts for 3 seconds. This item is suitable for assassins and heroes that have high burst damage. Fanatical Double-Edged. Soul Passive Mighty Slash. Every 6 seconds, the character's right hand will glow blue, as an indicator that the next basic attack will slow the enemy for 30% in 2 seconds. This item is suitable for characters that is good in ambushing the enemy. Soul Eater. Soul Passive Soul Annihilation. Every time you lost 10% of your max HP, you will gain 1% leech. This basically means that the lower your max HP is, the higher your leech will be. This item is good for fighters like Ichigo. End of Eternity. Soul Passive Searing Blade. Basic attack damage to enemy target that have higher max HP than yours is increased by 1% for every 500 max HP, up to 8%. This is the damage without the item. The normal basic attack damage is 137. And this is the damage with the item. As you can see, the damage is increased. This item is good for characters like Ichigo, and rangers also benefits in this item. Knife of Underworld. Soul Passive Gloom. Every critical hit will deal 30% of physical attack as additional damage. This basically means that your critical damage will increase. This is the critical damage without the item. Only 522 critical hit. And this is with the item equipped. As you can see, the critical hit is increased to 604. This item is good for characters like Nanami, who always have a high chance hitting a critical. And also for rangers. Execution Greataxe. Soul passive loading. Hitting an enemy with skills will increase movement speed by 50% for 2 seconds. This is without the item. This is with the item. As you can see, an indicator showing that the movement is increased. This item is useful for fighters and assassins in early game. If you like this kind of video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Click here to watch and learn about magic items in Jump Assemble.
I'm ready to go into battle. I'll put on a show, razzle dazzle. I'm about to take off, never gonna stop till I'm